you guys, it's Cece. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are pulling some shards on raid because it is ×2 for Primal Shards. I'm actually on my second account today, and this one does also not have any mythical on it, so one of them eventually is bound to get one, right? And maybe, just maybe, it won't be the fusion. Let me know how long it took you guys to pull your first mythical. I am curious on this. Now with this account, I do have 13 Primal Shards, and as I said, it is a ×2 chance of epic, legendary, and mythical champions. We are aiming for mythical, however, I will take legendary and I will even take new epic. For fusion, give you guys an idea where I'm at. What I'm missing, still quite a bit. This account still needs quite a bit to actually be able to do some fusion. So we will take any and all help that we can get. Now, with our actual shards, like I said, we have 13 of these ones, and hopefully we're walking away with something new today. Even new legendaries, as I said. We are already starting with legendary. Absolutely not. No way. Our first one. Let's go, you guys. We got Noct the Paralyzer. Okay. I want to see reviews first. Okay. Now, I don't have this champion. And with any legendary that I pull, I always say this, there's going to be some type of a use for them. Even if you've been playing for a while and you're like, oh, Cece, it's not the best one. I'm at that point in the game. I'm pretty early. Anything and everything is going to be helpful. Looking at the skills, first skill, attacks an enemy and has a 50% chance of placing 50% decreased accuracy debuff for a turn. Okay. Second skill, AoE, having a chance to sleep them for a turn and have 2 poisons. We have sleep and poison debuffs within that same turn, plus a passive effect. Places 2 additional poison debuffs for 2 turns whenever a sleep debuff placed by the skill is removed or disappears after an enemy takes a turn. That's really helpful because the sleep debuff is only for a turn, but the poison is for 2 turns. So having that with the passive effect, we're getting a lot of poison actually out of this champion. Third skill, places 50% ally protection buff on all allies except this champ for 2 turns. Also places 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns. That's kind of nice. We have a heal, we have ally protection in here as well. And the passive heals this champion by 3% of their max HP and all allies except this champion by 1% of this champion's max HP every time a poison debuff ticks on an enemy. Oh, that's super. That's a very interesting passive, actually. Whenever an ally is attacked while under ally protection buff, has a 40% chance of placing a sleep debuff on the attacker for a turn. That is an incredibly useful passive. Actually, this champion overall, this is something I can definitely make use out of. I could see myself using this in dungeons, spiders, dragons, ice golem for sure. I can absolutely see that. But a few other areas as well. Thinking about like some of the other key areas that they do have in this game and focus in this game. So Doom Tower, for sure I'll be able to make use out of that. But that is super exciting. Plus the aura, but definitely a very useful legendary. Let's keep going and see what else we can get. If that is all that we're walking away from, I'm not gonna be mad at it, honestly. Not bad at all. Of course, hoping for mythical, but I will take it. I'm very interested in that champion having the poison and everything. So we'll see. We also have Elenaril. Yeah, that's how we're gonna pronounce it. So attacking an enemy, 15% chance of placing a sleep debuff. Okay, we're getting some sleep in there. Increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns. Heals all allies by 25% of this champion's max HP. Seeing a little bit of that. Attacking all enemies, decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 1 turn. Okay, not groundbreaking. Yeah, some uses. All right, we'll keep going. Still rather exciting though. We'll take any of these, pretty much something new. We like new. Add to my collection of champions. It'll be nice eventually to have such a large roster that when you're picking through and doing things like live arena and things like that. Snorting Thug. What are these names? Attacks an enemy 2 times, having a chance of stealing a random buff. Nice. Stealing it on the first skill. Attacks an enemy, will ignore the target's defense if they have no active buff. Steals 2 random buffs from the target. So we're just taking buffs essentially from enemies in here. Has a 30% chance of stealing a random buff from the attacker when hit. Who would have guessed that? Occurs once 1 hit. Counterattacks the attacker if they have no active buffs. So essentially, we're here just trying to take your buffs. That is what I'm getting from this champion. I mean, no carries. Kind of seems fun though. Like you have potential in there just to have fun with the champion. Not something groundbreaking, but it's just funny that literally all his skills are thievery and taking buffs. That's what he's doing. That's what he's there for. He's like, I'm gonna just take that one and that one. And we've got a couple more rares in here. Temptress, let's go. I love their art on these champions though. So good. Hey, Grizzled. I was just looking at you in Prism Shards not too long ago. So attacking an enemy having a chance to place heal reduction debuff for 2 turns. It's kind of nice. Increase a defense buff on all allies for 2 turns while he's blocking buffs on all allies for 2 turns. And attacking all enemies having a chance of placing a decreased attack debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Destroys each target's max HP by 30% of the damage inflicted. Could be fun. Not something I'm going to build right away, but I'll take it. See what else we can grab today. We have another rare. I don't focus in too much on the rares. There's a few good rares in this game, don't get me wrong, but not a main focus. Oh, you look cool. Fang Cleric. All right, please tell me you're really good because your look is really neat. Attacks an enemy, 75% chance of transferring a random debuff from this champion to the target. Interesting. Heals an ally by 20% of this champion's max HP. Also fills the target's turn meter by 30% if they're fully healed by this skill. Places a veil buff on the target for a turn if they're not fully healed. Oh, that's really nice. It's like, hey, if you're healed, here's some turn meter. If you're not, I'm gonna give you a veil. Appreciate that. And has a revive. Revives a dead ally with 30% HP and fills the turn meter by 30%. Also places unkillable buff on the target for 1 turn and a 15% continuous heal buff for 2 turns. Bring it down to a 4-turn cooldown. Not bad. And ally speed in all battles by 15%. Okay. I mean, decent. We'll take it, right? We take decent. Oh, another one. I also, I recently got this on my other accounts. So this one, attacking an enemy 2 times is going to ignore a shield buff. Attacks all enemies, 25% strength and buff on all allies for 2 turns. Teams up with 2 random allies to attack a single enemy, which is nice. They're going to use their default skill, but it grants an extra turn if the enemy is killed and counterattacks when hit while under a strengthen buff placed by this champion. So keep in mind strengthen buff coming out of here. You can get that on a 3-turn cooldown and then working with the passive. So she has one. There's some potential. Could be fun to build. As always, with any champions, faction wars. Always potential in those faction wars. All right, last 2. Oh, we're getting some epics here. We have Aishma, maybe? All right, let's take a look at you. Attacks 1 enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 20% chance of placing a poison debuff for 2 turns. Attacks all enemies, 75% chance of placing a weakened debuff for 2 turns. Attacks an enemy, 75% chance of decreasing the duration of all buffs on the target by a turn. Also has a 75% chance of increasing the duration of all debuffs on the target by a turn. And heals this champion by 3% of their max HP whenever an enemy receives damage from a poison debuff. That works really nicely with the first skill. And seems campaign, Dragon's Lair, Void Keep Minnow. Okay, she has some potential. And she is new for the account. Don't have her, so could be fun to build. Last shard pull. Let's go. Our last primal, which has given us a nice juicy rare. With Perforator. Now on this account, we also do have some soul stones for mythical. So again, if I ever pull mythical, hopefully it is one that is with the soul stones, and hopefully these are some decent ones. But the thing about mythical, I feel like most of them are pretty good anyway. But out of everything that we got today, yes, I am walking away with some cool looking epics. However, the exciting pull, the most exciting pull is this one, who is new for the account. So I'm actually super excited that we managed to grab a legendary today. Those were my Primal Shards. Hopefully you guys did either just as good or better, question mark, than me. Let me know if you pulled, who you got, and who was the first mythical that you got, if you've got one. If you download Raid Shadow Legends using my link, I'm actually going to start you off with the free legendary champion on day 1. And then at level 10, level 20, and level 30, you'll get yourself an epic. That is 4 amazing champions that you can get just by downloading using my link. Now that you've downloaded using my link, you want to make sure that you are entering a new player code. You do have to enter this within 72 hours of actually downloading the game. The code that I suggest using is Monkey King. This is going to get you Sun Wukong, who is a legendary champion who is very good, but only here for a limited time. So you're going to want to make sure that you claim that. Be sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on future content and future shard pulls. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!
Next level.